Hi, it's been a busy week. Today I'm talking about the latest biopic based on Anthony Bourdain, Tony. This one is directed by the same team who brought you Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, and Blackberry. And Blackberry is a really good biopic on the rise and fall of Blackberry. I thought they really did a great job in that film. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it.
Let me teach you this. This is how you open an oyster.
I ate these in France when I was a kid. I said they taste like the future.
This one follows the early days of Anthony Bourdain as he basically follows a girl to Providencetown and then, finds his way into the kitchen. He is a very kind of unlikable character at the beginning of the movie, and I think it shows a lot of growth throughout the film in this summer that he spent in the kitchen at this one restaurant. And I've been a big fan of Anthony Bourdain for a long time. I really enjoyed watching his shows because he kind of opened your eyes to how different people lived across the world, regardless of what their circumstances were. Basically showed that everybody's just human, everyone's just trying to get by, everybody's just trying to live and, enjoy their lives. In the way he did his travel kind of documentary type things, I really enjoyed, because he didn't only talk about the food aspect of where he was at, but also some of the societal things around how that particular area evolved. And he just brought you into these different worlds that you just don't see a lot of when you're American like myself, or you haven't ventured abroad too much. So I really used to love watching his shows. Highly recommend checking them out if you haven't seen them. And Tony follows basically his summer in Cape Cod when he was younger, 19 years old. He was kind of like this smart-ass kid who a little bit full of himself, and he ended up following this girl to Providencetown. I'm not sure how true that is. Maybe it's true. I know this is loosely based on his Kitchen Confidential book he released in 2001. So I'm sure they took some liberties with some things, but he, in the essence of the story, follows a girl to Providencetown after he meets her in a bar. He went to high school with her. She's a little bit older than him. She does have a boyfriend, or she is seeing someone when he gets there, and he ends up kind of working in this kitchen to basically pay for a cot on the beach. And you follow him throughout the summer as he learns more about the kitchen, even though he sees himself as a writer, is slowly starting to understand more about kind of what that world is, being a chef, especially in a small seaside town. And he's learning about the chef character a bit more, even though the guy doesn't really open up. He's played by Antonio Banderas, and Antonio Banderas is fantastic in this movie. I think some of the scenes where he's actually not talking and just kind of responding to the other actors and the other people in the room when he's just doing his thing as the chef is kind of hysterical, because he's got some crazy people working under him. One of them being Leo Woodall, who plays a very different character than he does in Tuner. He was recently in the Tuner movie that came out at the end of May, beginning of June. They're kind of night and day characters, and he is definitely somebody I would not trust in my life if I met this guy. But he plays him very well. He kind of takes Tony under his wing as his wingman for the summer, but some tensions flare behind that. And Tony, I guess, he's really impressionable during this time, and so he does kind of pick up some bad behaviors, and he does slowly come out of this as he's working with the chef and learning more about the town and what it is to be, working day to day in a kitchen. I really love the character growth they showed with him throughout the film, especially how the film ended, what he did to, I guess, redeem himself for some of the stuff he did throughout the movie, because he does lie a lot in this movie. He tells a lot of falsehoods to everybody he meets. Eventually he does kind of tell the truth, but it's like the long way around when he does this. He is also very childish in some ways to how he acts with people or sees and interprets things around him, but there's a lot of growth shown throughout the film and how he redeems himself. I really enjoyed those parts of the movie. I think all the cast here was great. You have Stavi shows up. He's kind of like a sous chef or something in the kitchen. He's basically the comic relief, and he's pretty good in this movie. I enjoyed him. Leo Woodall was great. I think everybody in this movie was great, regardless of like how big their part was. And Dominic Sessa, I mean, I haven't seen too much of what Anthony Bourdain acted and sounded like, but I think Dominic Sessa does a pretty good job here of portraying Anthony Bourdain. Does kind of fit that young full of himself teenager who is, you know, coming of age, which is what this movie is. It's pretty much a coming of age story, and someone finding themselves throughout, I guess, some hard times. He seems to have a rough life, but not a rough life at home. Like he has some mother issues, even though he seems to like his dad. So there's some stuff there they don't really dive too deep into. The music here is also fantastic. It's by Jay McCarroll, who is the other half of Nirvana the band, and Matt Johnson being the director. So all the stuff I've seen them do together, I've really enjoyed, because they both worked on Blackberry as well. Nirvana the band, the movie, the show was also great, which they did a YouTube series, and that's kind of where a lot of people know them from. But I think Jay McCarroll's music here really sets the tone for this seaside town in the summer. So if you want a feel-good summer movie that you're also a fan of Anthony Bourdain in a lot of his work, if you liked any of the stuff that Matt Johnson and Jay McCarroll does, I think you're really gonna love this movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fantastic film. So I'd give Tony 4 stars.